I just want to make one small disclaimer before I start this video. I recently just started tea, and yesterday I got my first few voice cracks. I've been on tea right now for 6 days, and I'm already getting voice cracks. It's kind of scary, but I'm excited. So if y'all hear voice cracks, you know that I'm ready to start boy puberty because I'm trans and I recently just started taking testosterone. So if y'all hear the voice cracks, y'all know what's up. My voice is breaking. My balls are dropping. So I don't know where this came from in my head. It just randomly just came as this like little sprout, and I was like, this is a good video to talk about because it kind of upsets me, I'm gonna be honest. And I think like this is like I guess it was a subconscious idea. I was recently thinking about Simple Nix's video about is for a YouTube Dead video that happened that was released last year, maybe released earlier this year. I can't remember. I think it was last year. And in the video he talked about how there's a sense of furry YouTube of being pandered to rather than people talking about themselves, especially when there is a lot of furry YouTubers or furries outside of furry YouTuber like sphere who have made big splashes like Spoctor and Chipflake, but we don't talk about Spoctor, but and just a bunch of others. The Odd Ones Out is a big name to talk about if we're going to be talking about this year, who've made massive success in this community, but they're not considered furry YouTube because they're not making top 10 fursuit makers or top 5 furry movies or whatever. They're not considered furry YouTubers. And there was a tweet that was made by This Is Spitfire like I think 2 years ago that I had bookmarked. I think it's gone now because it was on my old Twitter account and I deactivated that because I did not like my perception online. And I've grown up and a bit matured, so I'm going through a lot, y'all. But they made it like a tweet. I can't remember exactly what it was word for word, but I'm gonna paraphrase it. And that is, it's like Fursona's becoming unoriginal and just becoming a pandered idea because that is what people like. For example, the femboy fox or the big buff daddy dragon or something like that. And it makes me think a lot. One of the core values I have in the furry fandom that I think a lot of people do have, and it's gonna sound cringy, but it's be yourself, I've always tried to make my personas try to be me as much as possible, or be parts of myself, or be things I wish I wanted to be. For example, Kane is very charismatic and outgoing and a party animal, and he's flirtatious. And then there's Lorcan, who is me, just as a dog, and he's anxious and nervous all the time, but he's also a big fucking nerd, and he's a bit of a know-it-all. But overall, he's just me as a dog, or as a wolf husky hybrid. And then there's Kai, who is my inner child, and he's a little Australian shepherd, and he's so fucking cute. And he represents the boy childhood I never got. It's very sad, I know, but yeah, I love him. So, and then there's a few other characters that I have that I do love, that represent little other parts of me. But those are the main ones, and I feel like in certain cases, people feel like they need to make a certain character in order to be liked within the community, and because we have this whole idea of, oh yeah, we were always kids who were never liked, or people always wanted to be cheated off of, or were never invited to parties or made fun of, there's always this sense of self-doubt and insecurity within the community because it attracts a lot of people like that, myself included. So, we kind of make the idea instead of being ourselves in the community when this community is meant to be a safe place. And I feel like that ties into a whole different argument. We'll save it for another video. So we're not going to get into that right now. But it's almost like, for me, when I see people make characters like that just because they want to fit in. It almost feels like a betrayal to me, and I shouldn't see it like that because it really isn't that deep, but it's just like, I really want people to be able to be themselves in a community like this. Unless you're a dickhead, then, and you have a paraphilia, then get the fuck out. No one wants you here. Anyway, I'm just talking with people who are, still struggling, with, and I shouldn't see it as a betrayal because it's them going through a struggle, and I've been there, I still struggle with that. I still feel this overwhelming shame to be me because I was made fun of a lot as a kid. For example, for me, I was made fun of a lot for liking certain things that I did. For example, Big Time Rush was like a big thing that I loved as a kid, and all the other girls were really obsessed with One Direction. I had my Big Time Rush, and that's what I liked. And then there would be the guys who always were playing Call of Duty and other games, and I was like, I love Skyrim. I love playing Skyrim and Minecraft, and I like games like that. And they'd be like, why do you want to play games like Skyrim and stuff like that? That's just boring. And I'm like, I don't know, I just kind of want to like. And then I got really into Pokemon, and all my other friends were watching One Punch Man and Sword Art Online, which I ended up watching and I still loved. And then I got really into anime, and once I got into anime, people made fun of me for being into that. And then I became a furry. Furry was also another thing I was made fun of for obvious reasons. But like anything that I liked was always something to be made fun of, no matter what. It was always that. And even now, I don't really know like how other people see me, but I remember being in college and talking about how much I loved Skyrim and talking about other things, and I'd get the comment a lot, wow, you are really, really nerdy. And I'm like, yeah. And I don't know if it's and it wasn't necessarily in a derogatory way, I want to say. I think it was more of a, oh, we weren't expecting you to be nerdy, based from my appearance, despite me having Dear Evan Hansen pins on my battle jacket. If you see that I have pins from a stage show, I don't know what to tell you. Watch them when I bring my Balto lanyard with my photo card of Kane and other things like my pins of Hunter and other characters from the Owl House, and my sketchbook with punk stickers on it and other things like, oh, just my room gives off so much of my personality. It's always been that sort of struggle. I understand the struggle of being yourself, but I think the Furry Fandom's helped me a lot with that, because there are so many furries that I can talk about my interests with. For example, collecting retro video games and just video games in general. It is like my favorite hobby, and one of my favorite hobbies that I love to indulge in. I love video games, and I love video game history, and I love collecting games and looking for my chase games and stuff like that, and finding deals on games, and it hurts my bank account so much. But I love it so much, and I love, getting games off my backlog and getting to play games I've been wanting to play for fucking forever. One of those games right now that I've been really enjoying is Stardew Valley, and there's many other games that I've been wanting to try that I have now, like The Witcher 3 and Monster Hunter Rise, and many others, and I'm stimming right now. But those sorts of things have always been something I've always loved to indulge in. And then other hobbies in the furry fandom that some things that I wouldn't even have, that I've been pushing off for a long time, that is also very popular in furry, is D&D. And one of the reasons why I put off D&D for a while, it's just not necessarily that I didn't want to, it was just more of a, I'll get around to it eventually. And then I seen it being played in Stranger Things, and I was like, oh, this is something I definitely really would enjoy. No wonder people were pushing me into it. Because people would see my Skyrim tattoo, or see that I was really into Skyrim or character creation. So of course everyone was like, you need to get into D&D. Like, you would love D&D. And that's one thing I'm really trying to get into right now. And then there's many other things, like emo music and tarot cards and Satanism and leftist literature and learning anything about leftism, because I am a punk, and that's another thing. Alt and just punk stuff is another thing I really, really enjoy, and vinyl record collecting, and those are just things that make me. You know, they're things that people associate with me. When people buy me gifts, a lot of things, or it'd be either be associated with hyperfixations. For example, my best friend bought me Stranger Things pop and a Stranger Things stress ball, because that bitch knows I have anxiety. And it's also based off D&D dice, so of course she was like, if Stranger Things related and it's D&D related, Lorcan would like this. And you know, buying me, you know, Stranger Things stuff, because Stranger Things was something I really, really enjoyed. Or, which is also something my girlfriend bought me. She bought me a varsity jacket from Stranger Things. It was the Hawkins one. And you know, other people, you know, sending me Heartstopper stuff, or sending me Skyrim or Disney related stuff, because people know I love Disney as well. And those sorts of things have always been what made me. And when I see people try to make themselves look desirable, when knowing full well some of the things that they enjoy are perfectly acceptable in the furry fandom, and like no one's really gonna give out to them for like little things, you know, like D&D or retro video game collecting, which is like, I'm gonna be honest, loads of furries are into that, and that makes me super fucking happy. And I love talking about that with people. Or for example, there's a few TikTokers, like furry TikTokers, who I see their collections and stuff, and I get really, really excited, because I'm like, oh, I'm not the only furry, you know, collector, you know, video game collector, because I also do that. There's like many of those little things, and I feel like many of us, when it comes to content creation in the furry sphere, we shy away from things that we enjoy, but outside of furry. And furry is a hobby in and of itself. And even now, I've been more interested in furry as a hobby more than anything, instead of focus on the community. I notice when you focus too much on the community, you kind of lose your roots a little bit. And so, especially this year, because I've gone through a lot of shit with the community this year. If you know, you know. Purple Yimba. And Dick Wolf, as I'll affectionately call him. That whole fiasco, that whole situation, made me lose my roots a little bit. So I've bought one thing I've always wanted, a fursuit, and that has been making me really, really enjoy the community again, and, you know, indulging in things like Zootopia and Balto and Bolt and many other things, and also looking for furry stuff online to buy, and, you know, looking at fursuit making videos, because I want to start making fursuits, because that's something that I really would like to try, and basically try different styles of furry art, and just looking at other furry artists and trying to support them. I really would love to do Art Fight this year, but I can't do Art Fight this year because I'm working full-time, so I can't really do Art Fight, which sucks. But trust me, if I wasn't working, I'd be doing Art Fight. And just interacting with the community. And even then, I feel like by using your hobbies in the community, you can do a lot of good work in the community by showing that. For example, you could make your own D&D campaign and, you know, become a dungeon master, which is something I kind of want to do. I just need to learn more about being a DM so I know what I'm doing. Or even making a furry collectors group for video games and stuff. You guys can trade games for things that you want, or you guys can be selling stuff that you guys want to get rid of, or looking for, say, for example, you know, your Xbox One disk drive is not working, and getting help for that sort of thing, or looking for deals and stuff like that. Like, by sharing those little things, you can make the community a whole lot better. But because a lot of furry YouTubers are they're so fixated on getting views and pandering to the community, it just, a lot of things get recycled. And by not being ourselves, I feel like sometimes things cannot come off as genuine when we are always making videos that are being pandered to. Now, I'm not saying that every furry YouTuber does this, of course. This is kind of a generalization I'm talking about. I feel like we could be doing a whole lot better. And I'm not saying this, furries, folks on furry stuff are inherently bad, because some people just want to, to be consistent, which is good. But also by doing new things and being innovative is what will help the furry community and the furry YouTube community, I guess, get some more breath of fresh air, get some new life into the community, and just get more people to kind of start showing a bit more of themselves within content. I try to do that as much as possible, but it's definitely something that made me kind of lose roots a little bit with the community, and I just feel like it was something that I wanted to talk about and just share and just have a little discussion about, see what you guys think. I don't know, you guys can disagree with me if you want, it's not necessarily that, it's just something I thought was interesting, and just something I've seen a few other people talk about, so I was like, it's interesting enough. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this small talk video, but yeah, I hope this was interesting or informative, or I don't know, y'all were entertained. But yeah, sorry for not making videos for a while. Work has been draining, and I've been just focused on myself lately because I've been going through a lot. A lot of personal stuff, and then also getting on tea, and just I've been focusing on myself a lot, y'all. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video anyway. But yeah, see yous.